that with the shop.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because I wanted to present something.
Could you go back over that that thing about the last 2 minutes you were saying? Can you remember what you said and repeat it because we were on a break? Could you do it?
Yes. The United States has hundreds, probably over 1,200 bases around the world.
Bases. That's bases.
Yeah, military
That's
bases
not a
around
Marine Guard at an embassy or something.
730 bases.
Spending money just this year that could bail out all 50 states from
Thank
their
you.
deficits.
Thank you.
Well, it's an empire.
Yeah.
Maintain that empire.
Among all these bases, there are 200 of them in surrounding Iran,
Right.
in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in the Persian Gulf, and even in the north. Establishing the missile shields very close on the borders of Russia. Russians aren't so happy about it.
I wouldn't think.
Neither Iranians are.
I wouldn't think Iran would feel very threatened.
Because imagine if Iranians had brought those kind of missiles and put
To
it
Canada.
on the island of Puerto Rico and say, we are protecting our safety because you are very dangerous.
Remember?
What would the reaction of the United States be?
Remember the
They're
Cuban
going to
Missile?
let us
The
stay
Cuban
there
Missile.
with military base? Obviously, the United States hypocrisy of safety and peace is not understandable by us. What kind of peace is that? Peace on the United States terms. We have never changed the regime or the government of the United States. They are the ones who have done it. We haven't used atomic bombs. The United States used it on the people of Japan. So who is being tested and who is being well known by the people around the world that the United States has been aggressive? I have a list of wars of the United States from the war in the Philippines in 1898. And then it continued. Cuba, occupation of Cuba, occupation of Puerto Rico, occupation and pushing the Mexicans out of the territories, occupying half of the territory of Mexico today belongs to the United States. And then comes the Second World War, immediately Korea, 1953 in Korea, dividing that country in half, setting them against each other. Then Southeast Asia's battlefield is not over. Vietnam begins. When the French left in 1956, who walks in? The United States walks in. And I do remember I was a student of the New School for Social Research here on 14th Street and 5th Avenue in 1971. The United States attacked Cambodia and Laos.
Remember it well.
That day, yes, I was exactly on the corner of 14th Street and 5th Avenue and or 6th Avenue. I said to the students, we have to shut down the streets of Manhattan and we have to lay down on the streets and let the cars to go over us. The school got closed. Columbia University got closed. NYU got closed. And there was a massive uproar in the United States against the war. And
In the world.
I was in Germany in 1973. The Germans, this civilized nation of Germany, believe me, when the German students came out in Frankfurt against the war in Vietnam, the German government came with tanks on the streets of Frankfurt, threatening the students that they're going to shoot them down, kill them. So it wasn't the West hasn't been so civil, behaving according to the principles of civility and humanity. I don't know why they are trying to sell us the slogan of human rights. Where are the human rights of Afghanis? Where are the human rights of the Algerians? Where are the human rights of the Palestinians? Palestinians are not human and they don't have rights? How come Israel every day kills a few and sometimes more Palestinians, and the United States and the human rights watches that gets fed by the money from the State Department, they never raise their voice that why the human rights of the Palestinians get violated every day.
Why is that, do you think, Ardeshir? What is it telling us?
3 elements is involved. One of them is racism. Racism. You see, they consider every Muslim a terrorist.
Well,
Why
it used
they
to be.
themselves terrorize the world.
Ardeshir, let me suggest that it used to be, if you remember, we're old enough to remember, that the enemy du jour that had informed all of what was going on in terms of geopolitics was
It
communism.
was the communists are
That
coming.
was it.
I
They were
remember,
coming out.
because I was
George
terrified
Kennan.
of
They were
communism.
coming out from the Eurasian landmass. Now the enemy du jour is Islam.
That's right.
They've ginned it up to where the enemy du jour, we don't have communism to play dialectic ping pong with or anything more. Now it's the it's Muslim. That's 1/4 or 1/5 of the world population, and we do not seem to have any way of relating to them in a way other than buying them off, like some princes in the oil and that kind of stuff, or trying to co-opt them and everything like that. And it's a major problem. And you just heard Victor say it's the prelude to Third World War. And that's something that worries the bejesus out of me, literally, because the weapon systems now, since about 1970, are now species lethal. They were not until just yesterday, and it would require, for it to be species lethal, rather than just wiping out great numbers, like we've done in an unjust kind of historical pattern, it would require that there be the unleashing of the weapon systems under the control of the United States of America. And one wonders what could lead to such an irrational thing as the unleashing of the weapons of destruction under the control, weapons we don't even know about, beyond hydrogen weapons, wave weapons, there's all kinds of germ things. There are things that are doing black ops and so forth, that would be the greatest threat. And and then this connection to Israel. I was very interested in your saying that they mistranslated what Mr. Ahmadinejad John said about that, about Israel. That, and I got back to hearing you, and the thing is, we're at the hip. A lot of what's going on in terms of that is like Israel, like the Fort Apache out on the frontier with the American Indians, no good Indian but a dead Indian. I mean, they're less than human. It was just racism. So you've got that problem, and they are under siege. And I heard you say, Mr. Ahmadinejad say, that Israel is going to evaporate. He didn't say it's going to be annihilated. It's going to evaporate, and that they're going to, in a very real sense, find out that the Israeli, the Jewish population, who was totally against the idea of picking up arms and going back to Israel, they made a big mistake. They made a big mistake in doing that they could come in and take it as though like a colonial power and not suffer the consequences of 1/4 of the world population, unlike the American Indians that could be kicked around because the overwhelming power was so concentrated. That's the most dangerous place in the world. Yes. And we're connected at that level. Right. And so that idea that he said it might be eliminated can be brought into current politics. You got Netanyahu there. I think Israel's under tremendous pressure. They built a gigantic wall, and they haven't got a way of relating to it other than they bomb Iran. They got us, neocons got us, with Wolfson was talking about invading Iraq in the 70s. That neocon connection is Likud and Israel. And so it's Israel that is a real thing willing to recognize, and we got to get some sort of a way of relating to the very, very rich traditions of the Islamic culture in the Islamic world, 1/4 of the world population. We shouldn't be allowing them to be ginning up a view of the world that is so against our own national interest, it seems to me. And that idea of admitted it in John is just saying it was a mistake. People make mistakes. And the whole thing, the establishment of the State of Israel was, in historical terms, a big mistake that there's going to be an answering for.
The question we have, if the German nation...
To bring pressure upon the United States. It's the United States that pressure has to be brought upon.
Yes.
The United States is the major force in the world and threat to the existence of the human species, and they don't have a vision relative to serving everybody that is worthy of what the future requires. That's where the problem is, and Israel could be a means by which we could help bring from Arab brothers, Islamic brothers, pressure upon the United States to really think about thinking things new rather than just going along and reifying the outdated institutions. What do you think?
Yeah, we have said this repeatedly, and it's simple to understand. Any rational person comprehends what we're saying, and that is, if the crimes committed against the Jewish population was by the Europeans, by the German nation, by the Nazis who committed that crime.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Oh, absolutely. Give them by Bavaria.
By the Germans. My question is, why the Palestinians have to pay for the crimes that the Germans committed? Why the German nation did not give part of Germany to the Jewish nation to live there? To begin with, they were Europeans. They were Europeans.
Could it be the Jewish overreaction that this will never happen again? That's why it's such a heavy hand.
Yeah, they got
That's
this.
their reason. That's the feeling.
This time I'll
It's
play
overdone because we will I'm not Jewish. That
Never
will never
again.
happen again. So it's
But why did they bring them from Europe and planted them in Israel
The
and
British were
coming in
behind that.
Palestine
And-
and taking the land of the Palestinians
yes.
and inviting the people from Brooklyn, my
Yeah,
friends
right.
from Brooklyn, they all went there and occupied the Palestinian land.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? Do I make sense or not? That who should have paid for the price of the crimes of the Germans?
The Germans.
The Germans had to pay.
You should have.
Why not giving part of the buyer, part of Germany, to the Jewish
Well,
They
population?
should have given them Bavaria.
But you,
Let it become. That would have made sense.
but you know what the Zionists say, though?
Yeah,
What did Zionists
why
say?
not part of
But
France?
the Zionists say that they said Palestine wasn't an official nation in a European sense. It was an area where these people lived,
Yes.
and it wasn't defined by any national boundaries, and there wasn't any kind of national government of Palestine. So we didn't really invade Palestine. It was just an
We just
area
penetrated.
exactly.
But if you ever-
That's what the Zionists say. I like their reason.
Jeremy? No.
I'm Victor.
I mean, Victor. I'm sorry. Victor, have you ever seen the map of Palestine and Israel from 1948 and seen the progression of what has happened to that area?
How the share of the
geographically?
Palestinians became a smaller.
Palestine, according to 1948, when you see the map, it's a certain geographic boundary area. Every single year, this little Tel Aviv, by force of arms, by force of expulsion, by shooting and killing and tearing up the livelihood of those people who brought us oranges and fruits and nuts, tear up what were there for 1,000 years, take away the man's subsistence, he goes and lives in a refugee camp. And then you say, we were Israelis, we came here, we built this land out of nothing.
Menachem
Is
Begin
that
was
a
a terrorist.
racist concept?
Sure.
I mean, how
The
racist?
Stern gang and that other gang. Those
Yes.
guys, you know.
I have to go.
Okay.
Moshe Dayan and all those guys. They were all, you know,
Thank you
wonderful.
for tolerating
Yeah,
us.
I know, we could go on and on. Wow.
You
Well,
have to work tomorrow, Louis?
Yeah, I do.
So what do you do, sir? I'm sorry. What do you? We never. I'm Victor.
Hi, Victor.
Victor. What do you?
Ardeshir Eleanot.
Mr. Ahmadi. That's
Yeah,
nice to
I'm a
meet you. Give me your
co-founder
card.
of American-Iranian Friendship Committee.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's good.
Well, listen. Maybe we can arrange to.
Victor, can you figure this out?
Sure.
Here's
Well,
a pen.
okay. Okay. Sure. I like meeting people and stuff.
She's sleeping. She's whacked.
We
Whacked.
arrange maybe to.
Everything's coming to a head with her. It's really, tomorrow's really huge.
You know, up here, and maybe you have access to. You communicate with people in Iran, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay, cool. And I always wanted to learn about your country. Well, not all there. It's okay. We know it. This is a lot of people read and write.
10% are
It's
written.
like that CIA movie with what's his name? The kid.
The kid?
Leonardo DiCaprio, and they said,
Famous
"Here, you can
actor.
do this movie, but don't mention Mossadegh. Don't mention what the CIA
Oh yeah.
is about."
Oh, that really resonates around the world. That was Allende.
How you just gonna leave that out? You know, it's like, oh, you just like took over a country and you terrorized the whole population and tortured them. And
Teach, Victor. Teach. Teach.
disappeared a lot of people. Oh, we'll just like we won't put that part in.
That's right.
Ardeshir, it looks like we're winding this down, right?
Yes, sir.
So this will be up on YouTube by tomorrow.
Thank you.
And let's hope that it gets 2,500,000 hits.
And is it, do you have to work on it?
they're not gonna send it around.
I'll do it in the back room.
Yeah.
I'll start
Because
tonight.
some of it was like
There's the guy.
What?
not so well organized yet.
Oh, no, but it was very good. You're so authentic. It's just fine. We were just saying,
You say that.
It's okay.
well, that's my feeling. So I think we can sign off. This is ACAP meeting. What's the date again, Ardeshir? This is the June 29th of the year 2008. We had the guest Ardeshir and Eleanor Ommani telling us a different picture than the one we've been getting. Happy to bring that in the name of ACAP. Sorry there weren't more people, but what was said was churse. It's like, what's his name? Spencer Tracy said of, good night, Louis. I'm sorry you have to work tomorrow. It's a shame. But anyway, you said of Katharine Hepburn when she walked away, there ain't much meat on her, but what was there is churse. Yeah, it's a Brooklyn thing. So that was really good. So thank you. So we'll turn this off.
you, sir.
And thank you very much for coming.
inviting
Really
us.
appreciate it. My pleasure. We're going to be in touch. Okay, over and out for now.
Does that go like